This is Summer Race Series 2. This is June 19, and I am toward the back, so I'm the antepenultimate car. So the very last car is actually a blue car, that's my buddy's, and then the car in front of him is a purple car, but it looked blue, and then my car. But here we go. So my goal is to not get beat by either of those two. That's the reason why. Now the interesting thing is the penultimate car, so the purple car. First of all, really cool body. He is the only one running a CUDA body. I was giving him a hard time just for fun, obviously as friends, because he has a sticker that says 340 cubic inches, so displacement. I don't remember what the Trans-American rules were, but I'm pretty sure the limit was 5 liters or a 305. Mainly because I recall Chevy having a 305 engine, then Ford having a 302. But I could be wrong. So I was telling him that he had the wrong engine based on what he was publishing on his car. But here we go. That's a minor little fender bender, but we're off again. So here we off. We're off to the races. I had to drive this car a completely different way than I did the very first Summer Series race because there was much more traction for that final than this one. So I accidentally hit the rear of his car, so that sets him back a little, sets me back. At that point, apologize and move on. It happens. I mean, I've been hit many times. As long as it's a real accident, that was an accident. Just keep going. But one of the things, like I was mentioning, I had to relearn how to drive the car. And one of the things that I'm doing is driving horribly. No, I'm kidding. So here, at some of the laps, I'm not really managing, but I'm going to start putting on some brake in the middle of the turn, actually, to just rotate the car. And then as the car is initiating the rotation, I got hit by the same guy. The same guy that I accidentally clipped, just boom, took me out. So that's karma. But right about there, hit the brake lightly, and then just go on the throttle. So that's one of the things that I've been doing with this car, and that actually worked very well on this track with the traction conditions. So instead of doing tuning on the suspension, which I could have done, I was just doing that. Now, one of the things you probably noticed, that white car, that car just pushed me really wide on that sweeper. Usually I wouldn't go that wide, so I'm not sure if that was by accident, intentional. He was probably coming in with way too much speed and started sliding out. But here, for example, right there, actually no, the sweeper I do full speed. So I let off before, and then I'm entering at full speed. But these small little turns, I'm actually applying a little bit of brake, such as they're rotating the car, and then just hitting the throttle. And that started working out very well for me unfortunately a little too late. Now here, okay, perfect, I passed him. So he started behind me, and then he passed me, and he's the guy that I accidentally clipped, and he's the guy that flipped me over and sent me out on my roof, which was great. So now I'm just trying to stay ahead of him and beat him. So that's my goal. My goal is to beat him and another buddy. So my main race buddy is in another county. I think at some point he had to take his car out. I don't even know if he finished. I have to look at the video. But notice how close we are. And this is honestly where it gets fun. Whenever you get next to a guy and you're just fighting for that position, it doesn't matter if it's in front or toward the end. It's just fun to actually race somebody. Unfortunately, it's over now. He decided to hit that. Maybe if I make a little more mistakes, I can let him catch up. That was actually a pretty nice turn back there, but then the next one was too wide. VTA is definitely a really fun car. The only thing with the X-Ray X4 that I'm going to mention, well, I'm going to mention a few things. The wheels in the front, they don't really fit because of those little steering links, the steering arms, I should say. So I am using, originally I ground off a little bit of the material, rounded some of it off. It shows in, I think, one of my videos where I'm making something, I don't remember. But then I also used 0.75 spacers in the front. So I used to be running 0.5s, I went 0.75. That made my front track wider. Now, you also lose traction that way by making it wider. But the rear, I ended up replacing the hex in the wheel and I went with the 0.5 option. So there I just got out of the way. That guy's got a lap on me. So I went with the 0.5 option instead of the standard option. It drives differently. I wish there were more traction. That would have been nice. But there isn't. So we'll see. Now keep in mind that the other thing too is I'm probably one of the few guys, if not the only guy, that isn't saucing tires. I'm actually running just dirty tires versus some of those, such as that the red and white car right there on the bottom of the screen that's coming back in, that one. Man, those tires are so ballooned. Actually, all of the top guys here, their tires are just massive balloons. I don't know. I thought it was dirty tires. I'm going to be running dirty tires. It's just fun. But keep that in mind too. So if you just show up and this is the very first time you're racing, don't be surprised if you're racing people with a bunch of balloon tires. Now it's very easy to balloon them. A lot of them will just put them in little baggies with some type of oil. They'll use, for example, just douse them in WD-40 and then leave them there for a while out in the sun, and then eventually it'll soak up. There's a chemical reaction that happens with the rubber. But then again, I haven't really looked into it. I just don't sauce. That's it. Should I? Maybe. You can comment below. Here we go. So right now I'm just having a good old time racing myself and my shadow. There's my shadow. Red car is going to catch up, I believe, and pass me. One of the things that I love about VTA, to be honest, is 8-minute mains. So qualifiers are 5 minutes, but it's 8 minutes of just fun driving with these cars. And I kind of wish I'd paid a little, well, I had practiced instead of having lunch. No, I'm kidding. There's no way I would have traded lunch for practice. Lunch is sacred. You can't drive if you don't have a meal. Well, I can't anyway. I'd be completely shaky up there with the transmitter. Food eases the nerves. But if I had thought about, putting in a little bit of brake somewhere in the middle, just to rotate the car and then going full throttle on it, just to have the front and just pull the car, it was so much easier to drive and much smoother. Now, do you need the latest and the greatest chassis? No. I really like mine. I really do like the fit and finish. But the guy next to me, who's actually the purple car, probably shouldn't have identified him. No, I'm kidding. He's a nice fellow. He's actually driving a BD7. So he's a BD7, and he qualified just behind me, qualified in front of an X-Ray T4. So keep that in mind. It's really the driving. And for my car, if we went over, there I was trying to get out of the way and actually accidentally lost traction. When you get out of the way, make sure you just do it in a safe spot. I know sometimes one wants to get out of the way as soon as possible so the guy that's ahead can just pass. But if you don't do it in a nice little safe area, for example, right here, you can just go wide on the sweeper and then let the person pass on the inside here go a little wider. Maybe even there, go wider, and then just let people pass, just like that. There I actually just stopped, because those cars were too close, and they're actually fighting for position. That was first and second, so keep that in mind. But that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Now, some of us didn't hear, so we're just doing another lap just for fun. But I hope some of you guys become interested in VTA. Catch you in the next one.
What? Oh, my hair! My car! My rod!